everybody, it's Doris with All the Books, and I am here with my favorite fiction reads of 2017. These are the ones I read in 2017. They weren't necessarily published in 2017, but I will try to remember to put the years in the description box if you are interested in that. And I'm going to try to rip through these as fast as I can because I didn't pay attention and my nonfiction favorites kind of went long. So let's just jump right in. These first four I'm not going to say much because they're Booktube darlings. So The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. So beautiful. I loved the way she wrote about people having conversations about religion and science without getting upset about it. And besides that, it was gorgeous. It's a little slow in the beginning, but it's so worth it. It's just lovely. The Trouble of Goats and Sheep, with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. Delightful, delightful story about children and a little neighborhood community and the mysteries that are involved there, and religious undertones with this as well, and a little subtle mystery. Absolutely delightful, and the hype over her new book has me like, oh, I can't wait to get it. Oh. The Clay Girl by Heather Tucker. This protagonist has my heart. I love her. I love her positive spirit with everything she goes through. I love her. I love her. Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. This was gorgeous, epic, multi-generational tale set in Korea and then Japan, and racism, and in a different take from what I'm used to reading. Just fascinating and interesting and gorgeous. And then a few that you might not be as familiar with. They're a little older. A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This one was really neat. It's basically kind of three storylines. There's a modern day couple on an island, I think in Canada, and she finds a lunchbox that has a journal from a little girl in Japan. Comes over after the nuclear disaster over there and a tsunami that follows after that. So you hear her story and they're just kind of parallel. It's so fascinating. And then there's even a further backstory with that girl's kamikaze uncle in World War II. And there's a little bit of magical realism with the ancestor worship, and just really interesting. These next two were surprises for me. I never would have imagined they would be on this list. The Devil of Nanking by Mo Hader. I was just assuming this was going to be my one scary horror movie read of the year. This is so much deeper than that. I mean, it has got some horror aspects to it, but it's historical fiction and about a period in time that I wasn't familiar with. Nanking is a real thing. I just learned a lot, and can't regurgitate it in the moment because I'm filming. Forget. But yeah, this is, if you ever get the chance to read this one, this is a neat one to pick up, and it was indeed great for October. This one, wow. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was so expecting light escapist literature, and it was that, but it was so much more. Yeah. I was expecting to, Seven Husbands and all that. You just don't even know. You just don't even know. This is a great read, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you the last 50 pages I cried twice and was completely shocked by a plot twist. So not what I was expecting at all. Very surprising book and a solid read. Okay, and then these are the favorites of the top 12. So The Agony of Bun O'Keefe by Heather Smith. This is kind of a YA. It's set in Canada and Newfoundland. The little girl is raised by, I've taken some time with this one because I haven't seen it on Booktube at all, and it was so fabulous. So the girl is raised by her mother, who's a hoarder, and she's socially isolated. The little girl's never been to school. Oh, she went to kindergarten, and then her dad left, and her mom kept her at home after that. So she doesn't know anything about the world, with the exception of a few books and videos that her mom has brought home. That's it. So one day, she's maybe about 14, I don't remember her exact age. Her mom just tells her to get out, and the little girl takes her literally and leaves and hitchhikes and ends up in a town 2 or 4 hours down the road, and luckily gets taken in by a native that's living in that town, and just there's a connection why he's so nice to her and careful with her. And you know, there's a bad guy, but there's just such an eclectic cast of characters that kind of become a community and take care of this little girl. This is a great read, great read. More people need to read this one. It was so good. Allie Smith, How to Be Both. Oh my gosh. I've developed a love affair with Allie Smith's writing. Gorgeous writing. I love her writing so much. This book was just, it was another one that I felt like I could start reading it again right away, just because there's so many layers of meaning to it, and it just intellectually left me thinking about so many things and wanting to, you know, her wordplay is brilliant, and I just want to read everything that Allie Smith writes now. South Riding. I never imagined this would be on my top 12 list. Winifred Holtby. This is a modern classic. This was written in the 1930s, I believe. It's a woman who is, she becomes the headmistress at an all-girls school, and there's a non-traditional romance, and the way this story goes down. Again, another book where the community is just a great part of the story, all the different characters, and just, you know, the making a difference in the world aspect. This, I can't believe it, but this could easily have been my top pick of the year. Human Acts could also have easily been my top pick of the year. Han Kang is just another brilliant writer. I think it's the second chapter or the third chapter blew me away. It's written from the perspective of the dead boy's spirit from the rebellion. He dies in the rebellion. But the neat thing about this is that each chapter is written from a different person's perspective, and she changes the tense, you know, her verb choices in each chapter to get her feeling, to make the feeling of the chapter the way she wants it to be. And the translator just did a brilliant job with this. But this book is gorgeous and heartbreaking. But none of those four were my top pick because I had a last minute read that blew me out of the water. And this one is slightly controversial in the real world. It's pretty respected in the critics circles, but My Absolute Darling by Gabriel Talent. This book is so brilliantly written. I've never read anything like it before. It's a hard read. It's incest and rape and gun violence. So yeah, it's pretty gritty. And there are some people that don't like the way these grittier scenes are written. They're somewhat voyeuristic, very voyeuristic, some of them. But if I read an interview with the author with New York Times, and I really respect what he had to say. And he took 7 years to get this book to the level that he wanted it to be for publishing. So kudos to that too. But the thing that blew me away was this girl is very self-contained with her thoughts and emotions, and you don't even get to see them as the reader. Like, not only does she keep them away from her father and her teachers and the people that become her friends, like she barely has any friends, but when she does, you know, nobody gets to see what she's thinking or feeling, not even you, the reader. And it wasn't until the end of the book that I realized what was going on. But this book is very, very focused on the natural world. So you have all these little vignettes of, you know, different creatures, mice and spiders and salamanders, and just, you know, interacting with the natural world and each other. And it wasn't until the end of the book that I realized it, but the author conveys what the girl is thinking and feeling through these creatures in the natural world. So I totally have to go back and read it again now to get that fully. Like, I was just speechless when I realized what was going on, and I just can't stop thinking about all this scene now. I keep replaying those little scenes with the creatures in my mind, and just, oh wow, that's what he was saying, and oh wow, I mean, blow me away. So yeah, this is not for everyone. If you can't handle those gritty scenes, and if you are not just very immersed in the natural world yourself, this might seem tedious to you, but for the right person, this is just a stunner. So yeah, 2017 was a great year, and I am so looking forward to my reads in 2018. I'm so excited to have discovered Booktube and just to be exposed to all this brilliant work. So thanks for sharing them with me so that I can read them. And I gotta go now, so thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.